Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss Book 13 in the Land of Oz book series by L. Frank Baum, The Magic of Oz. This is came out in 1919, Book 13. There we go. So, just to reiterate, L. Frank Baum writes about love and acceptance and all this good adventure stuff, right? But, being a hypocrite, he wrote 2 editorials about why the mass genocide of Native Americans was important for the survival of the new American settler. No, we don't condone this. Hypocrite. Moving forward. This is a bad book. It's unfortunate that it just brings these plot points that are just so strange and it repeats itself. It's not original and it's unfortunate. So going into this book, Magic of Oz, right? There's magic in Oz. We know this. There's 3 different stories going on, roughly. And then they all kind of merge together. So at the beginning you have Prince Kiki-Aru of Hyup, which is this country on top of Mount Munch. Mount Munch is technically in the country of the Winkies, which is in the Land of Oz, right? So it's a country within a country. Prince Scarecrow kind of runs Munchkin Land, and then the Munchkin country, and then Ozma rules all of Oz technically, right? So Kiki-Aru doesn't want to have anything to do with the Hyups. He wants to, explore. So he finds his parents' magic secret word of transformation, perixical, something like that. It's specifically written that you can't pronounce it. So perixical, I'm just going to say it like that. So he learns the magic word of transformation, transforms himself into a bird, flies across the deadly desert, flies across, goes to the Land of Ev, hangs out with the gingerbread man in a different country, etc. Comes across the old gnome king, right? Ruggedo. Ruggedo kind of brainwashes him and says, let's use this magic transformation word and get the beasts in a forest in Oz to band together as an army and take over Oz. And Kiki's like, sure, why not? So they fly to Oz and they try to, get the beasts on their side, and then chaos ensues, right? While this is happening, Ozma's birthday's coming up, right? So everyone's trying to figure out what birthday gift to give a fairy who has everything. She already rules the Land of Oz. What is she going to get? So Patchwork Girl's making her a song. Everybody else is doing their own thing. Trot and Captain Bill hear from the Glass Cat that there's this magic plant in a gold pot that just blooms and then dies and blooms a different flower and dies and blooms a different flower and dies. And they have to travel to this place, on this magic island in this lake that they have to go to. Okay, sure. They go off on their adventure, get trapped on the island, have their fun. Not really fun, but they have their moments. Dorothy and the Wizard have a plan of going to the same forest that Ruggedo and Kiki-Aru are going to, take 12 monkeys, capture them, have them shrunk down to 3 inches tall, train them to dance, put them in Ozma's birthday cake, and then when Ozma cuts into the birthday cake, the monkeys jump out and dance, and everybody has a grand old time. That is horrifying. Okay, so Dorothy, Lion, Hungry Tiger, and Wizard go to the forest while Kiki-Aru and Ruggedo are having their stuff. Wizard learns the magic word after Kiki transforms everybody into other stuff, and Ruggedo transforms everybody into other stuff. Then Ruggedo and Kiki are transformed into 2 different nuts, hazelnut and a walnut, something like that. Wizard puts them in the pocket, kind of quid pro quos the ruler of the monkeys in the forest, saying, hey, I'm not going to transform these 6 monkeys back into, regular monkey form, because the wizard, the ex-gnome king, Ruggedo, transformed them into giant men. And the only way that the wizard was going to agree to transform them back into monkeys is if the king of the monkeys allowed the wizard and Dorothy to take 12 monkeys, shrink them, train them, and then they'll be set free afterwards. And the king said absolutely not. And then the wizard's like, okay, bye. And then the king's like, wait. I need them back to monkeys. So he agrees to the slavery. Monkeys go in their cage, go back to Oz, right? While this is happening, Captain Bill and Trot are stuck on this island, trying to unstuck themselves because there's roots growing from their feet and they're trapped. Captain Bill then goes on a preaching spree of why God is great and we have to give thanks to God. And I'm like, this has nothing to do with the Land of Oz. Not once is it mentioned of preaching to a creator God. This is horrifying going into all of this now. That is not what this is about. This was about a fairyland and magic and peace and love and acceptance and had nothing to do with religion. especially on a Christianic level, an evangelical Christianic level. It was scary reading this now, as opposed to when I first read it. When I was a kid, I didn't pay attention to this stuff. Now that I'm old and I've read a lot, no. That is not how this character was ever created, nor was it ever needed to go on a preaching spree about God in this book. Horrifying. So, the glass cat finds everybody in the woods, in the forest, explains what's going on with Trot and Captain Bill to Dorothy, Tiger, Lion, and Wizard. Everybody then goes to the island, well, to the shore, gets them off the island. They all go back to the Emerald City. Dorothy and the Wizard train the monkeys to do their thing. Ozma's birthday happens. The monkeys come out of the cake. But then for like good quarter of the book, you're like, okay, well, what happens with the 2 nuts then that have been in Wizard's pocket? At the end of the last chapter, the Wizard's like, oh yeah, forgot they were there. Let's bring them out. So Ozma, Dorothy, Hungry Tiger, Cowardly Lion, and the Wizard are all at the Fountain of Oblivion in the garden, right? Wizard transforms them both back to their forms, forces them to be thirsty when they come back to human forms. Kiki Aru, who's not named Kiki Aru, because he doesn't remember his name after he drinks all of that, is deemed worthy of retraining by Ozma. And once Ruggedo comes back, Dorothy's like, oh, it's the old Gnome King. And he's like, you're right, I'm going to conquer Oz. And then he doesn't realize how thirsty he is, drinks water from the Fountain of Oblivion again, because he did this already. And then, forgets all his things. And Ozma's like, you know what? We're going to train him to be good. And he's going to live out his days as a good king now, as a good gnome now, instead of the old evil gnome that he used to be. Because they did force him to drink from the Fountain of Oblivion many a books ago, and sent him on his merry way back to the gnome country. But then the gnome kingdom retaught him how to be an evil gnome again. And then he went on another, let's conquer Oz again. We did this. We already did this. He already drank from the Fountain of Oblivion. Why is he drinking from the Fountain of Oblivion again? It's repetitious. It's unnecessary. It's frustrating. It's so frustrating reading these books because some of them have prime highlight moments and then others just contradict and it's just so infuriating. Again, we go into the whole, when you're born in Oz, that's it. You don't age. That's it. You're a baby forever. But we know that's false because Ozma was a baby and she was traded with the Wizard to old Mombi, who transformed her into Tip the boy, who then grew and then was eventually changed back into Ozma the girl by Glinda. We know this in the second book. We learn more about this in the third book as well. Literally called Ozma of Oz. So, we know people grow. We know that they grow from babies, but, it's still referenced that, no, you don't age in the land of Oz, so it's really irrelevant to have a birthday party. But because Ozma is the ruler, we're going to throw her birthday party anyway. Stupid! Stupid. I have 1 book left of this series, and I am so excited to not have to read this again. Probably 10 years from now, I'll read my top 5, maybe, if that. But knowing what I know now, it's just not making me want anyone to read these books. It's frightening how successful the first book became in regards to the stage musical, in regards to the culture that it inspired within pop culture and music and television and film in general. I give credit where credit is due, but the subsequent plot points in the land created by this extremely racist human, not cool. Not cool. I'm done with my rant. On to the next book. Mucho mahalo.